Hello, hello. I'm Zilla, and welcome to my Twitch channel, my stream Ancient Gaming, where I play games with ancient studies content and talk about it. Today we are doing our fourth part of the playthrough of Stray Gods, which is, as it calls itself, a role-playing musical. It's also a murder mystery about Greek mythology in the modern age. Feel free to say hello in chat, I welcome you. And a little bit more about me and the game before we start. So, first of all, hi, welcome if you're new, and welcome back if you've been here before. You can see my socials at the bottom of the screen. My primary stuff and all recordings of all my streams do wind up on my YouTube channel at Zilla's Athenaeum. And you can find, if you want to go back and start this game or any of my other games over from the beginning of my playthrough, you can always go watch them there. So this game is really fantastic. I have been having a great deal of fun with it. It is brand new. It is, at this point I'm going to start with spoilers, so if you want to check it out from the beginning, go ahead and go back to my earlier streams, that's fine. But where we are to date, we are playing Grace, the newly imbued scion, idol, of the muse Calliope. And she is trying to solve Calliope's murder, as the previous Calliope collapsed in her arms and passed away. So we are in a world, a modern world, in which the ancient gods are living as partially empowered beings, and we are having a good time trying to figure out what the heck is going on. So Grace is a singer in a band, her best friend Freddie's band. And Freddie has been helping her out somewhat. Also, we have made contact with several of the gods at this point. We've, in particular, Pan has offered us some very sketchy seeming help, but so far it has all panned out, but and we have met Athena, who leads the chorus, the group of gods who are sort of in charge of all of the idols, the embodied gods in humans. They live in Olympus, which is a huge building in the center of a city that is disguised as an office building, more or less. We've also met Apollo, who is kind of a surfer sad sack who lives in a shack on the beach, and his oracle, who is a little girl hacker who is the best. I love her. Just all sorts of people. Right now we have been told by Persephone that we should attend a party at Aphrodite's, which is said to be somber, so we'll find out what that's all about. I suspect it has something to do with the death of Adonis. For those of you following on from last time, of course, the moment that I signed off, I remembered that the flower named after Adonis's blood is the anemone. So that's one of our options. We also are following up on a lead that says that Medusa was chasing after Calliope just after she got wounded. Medusa probably didn't hurt her, but she might have seen who did. We've also been told that Medusa is not a nice person. So we could go talk to her. And that's kind of where we are right now. We've got some options. So that's Grace. We can go talk to various people. Freddie, our best friend. Apollo, whom we might owe an apology to or might not. And our two major leads. Now, clearly, Grace has an opinion. She wants to go confront Medusa or go to Aphrodite's party. Any thoughts? Well, I definitely want to make sure I make it to Aphrodite's party. So if it's one or the other, I should do that. We'll find out if it is. So, let's go see. You're still seeing the title screen. Oh no, that's not good.
Fancy party? Check. Bunch of strangers?
Moment.
Check. Grace totally not dressed for the occasion? Check. Now, if only I knew what I was supposed to be doing here.
Hello, Grace.
Hi.
Oh, you haven't actually
To be honest, I'm surprised to see you here.
Persephone said I should come to this. Whatever this is.
Okay.
Persephone didn't
I
tell
do
you?
apologize for the technical difficulties.
Why am I not surprised?
You're seeing Apollo now. Okay, so you could hear it fine, that's good. Of course, I missed what happened. Okay, good. So what did I miss, chat? I don't actually know what he said. So, hold on, let me check. Okay. Well, you know, I want to give him an
I don't
opening.
like the sound of that. What am I missing?
You don't have any of Calliope's memories, right? No deja vu, recollections that aren't your own?
No. Should I have?
Not right away. For a while, you won't remember anything. We call it the veil. In time, the veil will start to lift, slowly at first,
That
but
looks like Athena.
eventually you'll remember almost everything Calliope did.
That does
That
sound
doesn't
kind of
seem
cool.
so terrible. Am I missing something?
Remember how old we all are. There are so many memories. So the veil lifts gradually to protect you. Eventually, it's like a flood. It becomes difficult to separate what's you and what's them, and all who came before them.
Who came before them?
You're saying I won't be me. I won't be Grace. Will I start calling myself Calliope?
Maybe. Eventually, most of us do, but most of us were chosen and prepared.
And I didn't choose this.
I understand. Take some time to let it sink in. If you like, we can talk about it later.
What does this have to do with the party?
Aphrodite hasn't been the same since we came to the New World. She has horrific memories of what she endured during the war.
Why does it keep flashing
Passing
over
on
to
her Eidolon
Athena's
is a way to
silhouette?
forget. For a while. That's what this party is for.
Oh! Interesting. So, this is a... Well, I guess that's why it's somber. Not at all what I expected. There is a tradition, though, that... So I went over the Adonis myth last time, but basically, he was a beautiful young man that Aphrodite was in love with, and so was Persephone, queen of the underworld. And, when he died, Aphrodite went into mourning. And there is a tradition that she might have jumped into the sea to send herself after him into the underworld. we don't know a lot about that tradition. It lines up very nicely with the myth we think it came from over in the Near East, the Ishtar Inanna myth, where she goes into the underworld herself, and sometimes trades places with him. So this is not out of character for being involved with that, but it doesn't seem to be referencing it, so I'm interested. If we do see references to perhaps a white rock or jumping into the sea, or any name like Faun or Light, then they might be doing that. Otherwise, this is just some games, but apparently trigger warning suicide. I'm sorry, I was not aware ahead of time. Okay.
When you say she's gonna pass on her Eidolon, you mean...
She's going to die, yes, and pass her soul on to a chosen successor.
in front of everyone?
We're here to help, Grace. To make it easier for Aphrodite to do what she feels she must. We're here to say goodbye. At least for a while.
So Aphrodite
This
has
isn't
done
the
this
first time
before.
Aphrodite's done this. She's held this kind of gathering before, right?
This is her fourth, I think. Perhaps fifth.
So every time the veil, whatever you call it, when it starts to lift...
Aphrodite's memories return, and eventually it is too much. We gather to pay our respects and to honor the past. Well, she still remembers it.
I have a lot of questions about when they say the war. Which war? Why are they in the New World? What do they consider the New World? Are they using that in the sense of, like, the Americas? Which, I mean, I guess fair, but also, you know, they've probably seen more than one New World over the course of their extended lifetimes. Like, wow, I just have so many questions. Grace, can you ask my questions for me?
Wait. Persephone said Calliope always refused to come to these parties.
She refused on principle. Everything Calliope did was on principle. She believed Aphrodite was indulging her sadness, wallowing in it. She thought Aphrodite should try harder. It was a point of contention between them. Aphrodite will be grateful you're here. Trust me.
Do you support what Aphrodite is doing here?
It's not my choice to make, Grace.
Yeah, but you must have an opinion.
Eventually you will remember what we experienced during the war, and eventually you will remember that what Aphrodite experienced was far worse. If this is the mercy she requires, I will not tell her she should not take it.
I have a lot of opinions, but not enough knowledge to make any kind of judgment. I wish I didn't have to choose between approval and disapproval.
Okay, so what did Aphrodite want Calliope to do? What did she want me to do?
Well, knowing Aphrodite, she'll want you to make a production of it all.
That's
She's not here
a
just yet.
well-animated face.
Until she arrives, I suggest mingling.
Mingling.
Yeah, mingling. Talk to Eros. Or we can talk more if you like. Just try to relax, Grace.
Sure, yeah. Relax. That's what this party's for,
I want to go
right?
talk to Athena. She's looming. But not an option. So we've met Eros
Grace.
once before.
Hey, Eros.
He's got
Nice
some... Okay.
Oh. Okay.
Aphrodite will be so happy you're here. It means so much you have no idea.
Are you okay? You seem a bit...
Every time she does this, I don't know how to handle it. I almost want to run upstairs and demand she stop. Remind her that this never works. Sorry, I shouldn't unload on you. It
Does
been a
seem
bad
like
week.
he is having a rough week.
Hey, I understand. This can't be easy.
She's the one who is suffering. I shouldn't be complaining.
Oh.
I just hate this. I'm there every day, going through it all with her. The nightmares, the panic attacks, the weeks when she just won't get out of bed. I'm there when she forgets the war's over, and I hold her until the screaming stops. Me. I do that.
That sounds awful.
And now I'm arranging her gathering again, so she can die again. And I'll watch it all again.
So, gosh, this is really complicated. Poor Eros. I mean, that... So, in context, she's effectively his mother. And he's watching her go through this over and over and over again. And he says it never works. I believe him. You can't run from your trauma. It doesn't work. It always comes back. And it puts the ones you love through hell. But you can't make somebody else's choices for them.
Is there no other way? Does Aphrodite really need to...
To die? I've asked that so many times. She's tried magic, drugs, psychotherapy, meditation, everything we could possibly think of. But for a while, she'll deny anything's wrong. It all seems fine, and I start to hope. Maybe this time will be different. Then the nightmares begin, and the memories return. More with each passing day until... I hate it, but I see her agony. I can't deny her this.
There is... There comes a point in pain where compassion can look like things we don't expect. What I'm actually really interested in is, why does she keep choosing someone new? Because it's been made clear that gods can pass away from the world entirely.
Maybe I just don't understand, but... Isn't this... like suicide?
Some of the idols have committed suicide.
Yeah,
They let themselves die without passing on their eidolon.
What happens?
What you'd expect. They're gone. Forever. Mother says she can't do that. She won't. Not until she sees Hephaestus again, I suspect. Not that what's happening here is anything casual. She still has to die. For a while.
So that's really... they mentioned before that that Persephone mentioned that she doesn't get along with Aphrodite because of Hephaestus, Aphrodite's husband, which is very weird. Hephaestus is... Generally, it's not part of the mythology that Hephaestus and Aphrodite have any real affection for one another. Or at most, he does for her, but she's actually in love with Ares. So that's really very interesting. It also implies a number of things about Hephaestus's current state, like that he still exists in the world, but he doesn't make time for the other idols at all. I'm very curious about this. This is very strange. It does track a little bit more with the cycle of life and of death and rebirth that I was talking about with the Adonis myth. It's much closer to Ishtar or Inanna than to the Aphrodite versions. To die for a while and come back, like the cycle of the seasons, and to do it all for love. I'll be really fascinated to find out.
Is it okay if I ask what happened? I don't mean to pry, but I'm new. I really don't know.
No, it's okay. I wouldn't usually talk about it, but I know you don't mean any harm. What happened is that brother Ares happened.
Ares.
He missed out on the first world-spanning war, you see. So he was damned if he'd miss out on the next one.
Oh no.
He found some jack-booted mortals, so full of themselves and their supremacy.
Oh, we're in a version where Ares created the Nazis. Okay. Not the first time that's happened. Thank you, Wonder Woman.
Took us completely by surprise. Some they killed, but Aphrodite, her they captured.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh.
So, that's a very strange setting. So Ares is, as is Hephaestus, in the version, they're both sons of Zeus. They're the two sons of Zeus and Hera. Zeus has lots of kids, mostly not with Hera. Aphrodite, in some versions, is the daughter of Zeus. Basically, and the sea, more or less. But in some versions, she's actually of a different generation. She's actually, to put it friendly for the internet, in many versions she is the daughter of the sky and the sea. So if we're saying that Ares is her brother, then so is Hephaestus. But neither of them are usually referred to as that, for reasons I previously mentioned. Not like the Greek gods are strangers to incest. The incest laws don't seem to apply to them. And yes, the ancient Greeks did have qualms about close relations producing children. That was not good for them. They knew it could lead to deformities, and they thought it was a curse from the gods. Pardon. So Ares missed World War I, and he didn't want to miss out on World War II. Like, okay, I can see that. But I don't have a lot of understanding from this for his motivations. Like, what would bring him to destroy the other gods like that? What would bring him to capture his sister like that? This is very strange. Ares, we tend to talk about Ares as, a jackbooted thug, right? As the god of war who was just brute strength. Even if you play something like Phoenix Rising, Ares is this asshole. Like, maybe a lovable asshole, but an asshole, and kind of not all there, in terms of the smarts. But, that's not He's not usually an incel, which is what I feel like he's being, or a sociopath. Which, I shouldn't say that. He's not usually a mindless killer. He's the god of war, not necessarily of violence. Like, where they have mania for senselessness and all sorts of things like that. So in our common understanding, he's often contrasted with Athena, who's also a war goddess, and like the idea is that he is the battlefield god and she is the sort of strategic goddess, the one who thinks, the one who plans. That's a very Athenian take. In other parts of Greece and in other versions of myths, Athena is barely a war goddess at all. Like, she does have her spear and shield, but, like, she's more a goddess of crafts. In Athens, she's much more important than she is elsewhere, and Ares is much more important elsewhere where they need a war god. So, it's very interesting that they have that set up, and to bring in World War II specifically, giving a very Jewish immigrant vibe instead of Greek immigrant vibe, which is what I would have expected, I guess. I don't know. I will say that the Nazis were very interested in mysticism. They weren't really interested in Greek mysticism so much. They're much more into Norse mythology and stuff like that, but that doesn't mean they weren't interested in Greek mythology. So it's not hard to imagine Ares convincing them to invest some effort into dealing with actual Greek gods. I don't know.
Aphrodite was captured, but she's here now. So she must have escaped.
She didn't. Do you know the name Hephaestus?
Oh, I guess we're gonna get some insight.
No. Should I?
God of smiths. He could make anything, any tool or weapon. He was Aphrodite's husband, and he adored her. When he found out the mortals were torturing her, he went mad. He was determined to save her.
Wait, they tortured her?
Nothing extreme, I'm told. They were too frightened, but they were also determined to wring every last secret out of her. So,
why do we keep getting these views, these particular views of the other guests?
Made a deal.
Very odd.
With the, jackbooted guys.
No. With their enemies. That's what saved her.
Then this deal is how Aphrodite survived.
It's how we
Are
all
they
survived.
implying Hephaestus invented the
brought us to the
nuclear
new
missile?
world. Hephaestus saved us all. We never saw him again. That was the deal. He would leave, make their precious weapons, and never look back. Aphrodite never even got to say goodbye. It's funny, because Aphrodite didn't even like Hephaestus when they were married.
Okay.
She seemed to resent every minute they were together. But now he's all she can think about.
What is my part in all of this? I'll help if I can.
Aphrodite loves drama. She always has. She wants us here to remember, to celebrate our history. She'll ask you to use your power as part of the celebration. Could you use it to inspire her?
I can't force anyone to do anything they don't want to, Eros.
That's not what I'm asking. I believe that, deep down, she doesn't want to do this any longer. She must see it isn't working. She just needs the strength to try. Or I hope that's all she needs.
It's not up to me, Eros. I can't make that decision for her.
I know. Neither can I. I was only hoping Aphrodite could make that decision for herself, if she was inspired.
I don't know.
It's a lot to ask. I'll understand if you can't. All I want, one way or another, is to get through tonight.
Well, we might as well talk to Apollo, see what else he has to say. As long as we're here.
I know all these people, Grace. For as long as I can remember, I've known them. Yet sometimes I feel like I don't know any of them at all. Or they me.
You don't enjoy these family gatherings, do you?
Are they family gatherings? Like the sort mortals have?
You call each other sister and brother and mother.
Well, yes, but...
And you've been together like 100 times longer than I lived with my family. All you're missing is a drunk uncle
Athena
everyone
has
has to
moved away
apologize
from
for.
The windows. She's no longer lurking.
That would be Pan. But yes, I feel very much out of place.
Why is that exactly? Wouldn't you feel more like you belonged after 1,000 years together?
Is your assumption that all those centuries bring great wisdom?
Don't they?
We get older. We have more to forget. We hold grudges longer. But wiser? No. Not so far.
Interesting. I mean, that is something that I think about a lot. Like, we often equate age with wisdom, but that's not really true, and all you have to do is look at the people in power to know that. Just because somebody is older doesn't mean that they're wiser, and hundreds of centuries stuck in what seems like a fairly traumatic cycle, where you die and are reborn and take over somebody's personality over and over and over again. I can't imagine that makes you more traumatized than wise.
I spoke to Eros. He's pretty broken up over all this.
Oh, poor Eros. Each new successor, his hopes rise up once more. And then he watches the new Aphrodite crumble. Piece by piece. Only to start all over again. It's so different from the olden days. Once he was the eternal disaster. And Aphrodite kept constant vigil over
Eros by Playboy.
Maybe he feels like he owes her.
I think he's followed her into a dark void, and somewhere, deep down, believes he deserves no better.
I should get back out there.
Well, I guess that's really all there is to do. Hope I don't miss my chance to talk to Medusa by coming here, but it seemed more time pressing. There's Aphrodite's dress, and presumably her successor.
My family. Having you all here, gathered once again to see me off, it moves me. More than I can say. My loves, my darlings, my dearest friends. And you. Oh, my dear sweet thing. I dare not hope that you, with all your troubles, might sing me to my sleep. Yet here you are. Yet here she is. Huh.
Oh, I just want to... I'm so excited about Aphrodite's successor. As you look at her... Brilliant! Brilliant! Oh, love it. Of course, Aphrodite is always out there loving everything, loving the marginalized, loving the bright and the hopeful and the people who come through the worst shit that humanity has to throw at them, because a lot of disabled people just really get a lot of shit thrown at them and still are able to look around with love. I adore it.
It's lovely to meet you, Aphrodite. Properly, this time.
Ah, yes. Poor Calliope. Such a loss to us all. I shall miss her dearly. To have come so far, only... No, it doesn't bear thinking about. It's too much.
Is this Grace, my lady? The new muse?
Oh! What manners I have. Grace, Grace. Meet the lovely mortal woman who shall tonight become the new me.
Hi,
like
my
her
name's
lip color.
Venus. And yes, it really is Venus. Nice to meet you, Grace.
Venus, of course, being the Roman name for the goddess of love, equated with Aphrodite. I'm
Yeah, hi. Nice to meet you.
gonna be
We'll
polite.
both be new at this, huh? Maybe we could get together and compare notes if you,
Survived my trial.
Yeah. Lady Aphrodite
Oh,
told
her
me.
knots in the shape of a
I shouldn't have
heart.
brought that up. I'm sorry.
There will be so much time for you lovelies to speak later. Now, we must prepare for my departure.
I just want to say, I'm really sorry that this happened to you, that you need to do this.
A babe in our dreary world, and yet already possessed of such earnest purpose.
She takes this task seriously, Aphrodite.
Apollo! Oh, you've come after all.
You look remarkably well, cousin.
I keep looking at
I've
these
had a
fan
great deal of
shapes that
time to
Aphrodite has
prepare. I
everywhere.
assure you that would not be the case. As for you, Grace, have you gathered the true purpose of tonight's gathering?
Let's make a
I don't
joke
know.
of it, shall we?
You like parties? Seems like a great excuse for one.
I do like parties. The orgies of Rome were... they were exquisite. A sea of flesh and sweat and delights for every sense. Or perhaps it was a pleasant dream I once had. I can no longer tell. Tonight isn't about frivolity. Oh no. It's about honoring the memory of what once was while I yet retain it. Go! Enjoy the gathering, Grace! Tell me when you're ready to begin.
Let's talk to Venus.
I want to apologize again, Grace. I really messed up. It looks like I'll be doing that a lot. Lady Aphrodite said I'm ready, but I don't know.
Don't worry about it. My foot has been lodged firmly in my mouth since this began.
It's a relief to know I won't be the only one. If I can ask, what does it feel like after it happened? Do you feel different?
So, Venus has a rose tattoo on her left arm. Rose, definitely a symbol of Aphrodite, a symbol of love. That fan shape is bothering me because I can't place it. All of Aphrodite's jewelry, from her rings to the brooch on her gown to her earrings, they all have that fan shape. I'm not sure why. I wonder if it's something to do with Ishtar or Nana, whose symbology I don't know as well. Trundlebot thinks it might be seashell. Doesn't really look seashellish to me, but it would make sense. So, like I said, she's generally considered to be the daughter of the sea. And, you know, you've seen that famous Botticelli painting where Venus on the seashell, you know. So, yeah, I haven't figured it out, but that's a good idea. I do apologize, chat. My attempts at moderation seem a little bit clumsy. I have not had to block very many people before, but you know, anybody coming in here offering promotions and Dogecoin or whatever, stop it.
I'm not sure. It happened so fast, I didn't know what to think. Calliope died, and then all this happened.
You didn't remember anything? About her? Who she was? She was just gone?
Yeah. Isn't that the point of all this?
I just wanted to be sure. Sometimes it doesn't seem like it could be real.
I love the voice acting. It's really nice.
Are you really okay with all this? You know what's gonna happen, right?
I saw a lot of people in crisis at the shelter. I knew something was wrong with Lady Aphrodite. She's in so much pain, Grace. She won't let you see how much. Eros called me one night desperate. She wouldn't stop screaming. She didn't know where she was. She's a good person, Grace. A good soul. She deserves mercy.
Oh, and of course, Venus is also wearing pearls. Another symbol of Aphrodite, symbol of jewel of the sea, you know, same symbology there. But that was a really interesting take. Makes me wonder, you know, the shelter. What does she mean, the shelter? Is it a domestic violence shelter, maybe? Is she some kind of social worker or therapist? If so, this is verging on enmeshment of a kind we don't even have names for, but, you know, I can understand her position.
I get that you want to help Aphrodite, but do you really want to be her? To be an idol?
At first I thought, wow, this is too good to be true. Who wouldn't want to be a god? Later I realized they're not all powerful. They don't know everything. They're lost. Do I want to be that? Will I be that when the memories return? I don't know.
So why go through with it?
Because Lady Aphrodite needs me. Maybe, just maybe, if I'm added into the mix of all the people she's been, maybe things will be different.
There's always a way forward, even if it doesn't look like what you think. Let's see what happens.
I have tried so hard, fought for so long, but in the end,
It didn't even
I must
matter.
bid you all farewell once
Sorry.
again. But before I go, I would like us all to remember the
I wish I could
sacrifices
see
that
who all
brought
these other
us
people
here
were.
to this strange
I guess
new
that
world.
silhouette isn't meant to be distinctly
This
Athena,
time.
even though it looks like her.
It is with the help of our lovely muse that we shall be guided.
Let the song begin.
We let them rise. We let it happen. We waited far too long. We thought we shouldn't intervene. We were wrong. We were wrong. Since the beginning we were hidden. We held court from up above. 'Twas the golden age of reason, and I the queen of love. But a plague of hate was spreading, and there were vultures standing by. Before we fell to our knees begging, we fell from the sky. We let them rise, we let it happen. We waited far too long. We thought we shouldn't intervene. We were wrong. We were wrong. We had revelry and rebirth, a family all together, till 13 million marching men cut us down forever. But Brother Ares made it happen, joined their war without dispute. Now the once mighty immortals are just mud under a boot. We let them take our loved ones, it's what they wanted all along. We thought they were beneath us, we were wrong, we were wrong. I see you have the power, it's a poisonous reward. My virtues only scorn me when I was once adored, loved by every mortal, then ripped from paradise. No one suffered greater till he made his sacrifice. The man that I ignored saved me when I fell. Yes, the husband I abhorred rescued me from hell. I thought it was a joke when it was said to me, he struck a deal with our enemy's enemy, made a secret weapon so my captors let me go.
Oh boy.
He gave up his freedom, leaving just a memory, and this love I'll never know is what he gave to me.
I can't believe what I'm hearing today. If your story stops there, I've nothing to say. I can't imagine. I feel like a child who grew up too fast. The goddess of love can't get past the past. What good is a flame when everything's ash? I can't imagine.
There's no excuse, but mortals can tell.
You know,
There's no sweet release, it's ongoing.
you know, you know.
Everyone's here to bid me farewell. Can you imagine
I can imagine.
this really happened? I can't forgive, the river's too deep, its reflection won't lie, so just let me sleep. I can't let go of what could have been.
Lost in a moment, lost in a song. Lost in a moment, lost in a song. Lost in a moment.
Mother, I've stood by your side, now I no longer see the purpose of love when it tears at the center of me. My arrows are rusty, forget the bow, and I won't be begging you not to go. But when you're away, you leave us a broken home. And you leave me alone,
lost in a moment, lost in a song, lost in a moment, lost in a song, lost in a moment. If anyone would know about the mysteries of love, you would know. Only you can decide. Lost in a moment, lost in a song, lost in a moment, lost in a song, lost in a moment, lost in a moment, lost in a moment.
Are you...
I'm fine. I'm still myself. I thought there'd be something more, that I feel her presence, but she's just gone.
She'll be back. But she'll also be you. She'll be different.
I'll try to be ready. I promise.
You'll get through this, both of you. Healing takes time.
Not if you keep resetting the clock.
Gerse is right. I'm not Lady Aphrodite. But eventually, she and I will be one. Together, we will get through this.
I hope you're right. Before we go, Apollo tells me you were hoping to find some information about Calliope's death. I'm not my mother, but maybe there's something I can tell you. Do you have any suspects yet?
Well. Okay, so there's a lot to unpack here. I would like us to roll back to that depiction of Hephaestus. Whew, boy, that is a lot. So I was correct. They were implying that he gave the Allies the bomb. There was a mushroom cloud behind his head and missiles in the stained glass. A weapon of war so terrible it holds the entire world hostage just by existing. I don't know how many of you have ever really gotten to look at the effects of an atomic bomb. Gone to the museums in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, or really taken in what it must mean for that many people to be wiped out in an instant. Civilians. Even if they weren't civilians. I have been to both museums, actually. I've spent a lot of time in Holocaust museums as well. My heritage, most of you watching probably know, I am Jewish. My family narrowly escaped the Nazis. And a lot of people didn't. There's no justification for dropping an atomic bomb on people. I can't think of a real reason for them to exist at all. But I've seen marble melted as if it were wax. I've seen the shadows of people instantly incinerated. All that's left on the sidewalk is their outline and silhouette. The horror that they are implying by placing the Nazis and the atomic bomb into this context is unimaginable. Speechless is not obviously the right word, but oh my, whoa, I was not expecting this. I will be putting some content warnings on this before it goes up, and I apologize to those of you who are watching live because I would have warned you if I'd known. Okay then. So there were some things in Aphrodite's song that also made it pretty clear that Ares signed up with the Nazis and gave them power in order to pull the Greek gods down to Earth. That this state of being idols is because of that event. Which means that there have not actually been that many iterations of idols, if that's true. So suddenly this being the fourth time that has happened makes everything a little bit grimmer. It also, like, this game is fantastic, but that implication that World War II was started to rip the gods from their throne and take their power, and that's why all of this happened. It feels a little disrespectful to the actual victims of the Holocaust. I don't at all think that was the intent of the writers, but that's how it strikes me. You have to be very careful if you want to pull World War II into a story like this. Which is not to say that it hasn't been done 100,000 times before in pop culture. Like, see my previous several dozen rants on Ancient Aliens also. One of the things that I wanted to talk about actually in regard to how Hephaestus was portrayed, first of all, beardless, shocking, absolutely shocking for somebody like Hephaestus. I've never seen a portrayal of him that was beardless. No, that's not quite true. I've seen a completely bald portrayal of him with no hair at all. And that didn't strike me as nearly as odd. But he looked like the Phantom of the Opera with that half mask. And more specifically, he looked like the female villain from Wonder Woman 1. The scientist with her neurotoxins. And there's a lot there. Like, it really does feel like they shoehorned this idea in to me, that they took that idea from Wonder Woman, that they're, playing a lot of what ifs. It's just too close. The Ares starting World War II, and I guess spoilers for Wonder Woman if you haven't seen that. It was like a 10-year-old movie now. Yeah, so I have a lot of thoughts, and I am not putting them in a really good order right now, so I'm going to move on to the next thing. I do apologize for not giving content warnings. If I'd known, I would have given them. I do wonder if there's a version where you can talk Aphrodite out of completing the ritual. But I didn't feel like it was my right to try to do so. Well, let's finish this party.
Sure. Calliope was attacked at the reliquary, so it had to be someone who had access.
So that's where she went. Calliope came to see Aphrodite and I that night. She was agitated, frightened even, but she wouldn't explain why. She said she had a plan. It must have been the reliquary.
One other thing that I'm reminded of from the song is Aphrodite started by saying that they waited too long and that they could have had an impact, that they could have saved people. Maybe prevented the rising tide of hate. The Greek gods are not known for doing that. Quite the opposite. Like, the whole Trojan War thing, that was all, like, Zeus's plan to thin out humanity, because it was getting to be too much of a burden upon the earth. Like, that's not modern talking points, that's Hesiod. Or Homer, like, we have multiple records with that one. So it's interesting that in this version, Aphrodite feels like they could have stopped the war, that they could have intervened, and that Athena's constant purpose is to keep the idols hidden. To protect them from this happening again, presumably, but that Calliope and Aphrodite both feel that they should have not hidden away is interesting.
A plan? A plan for what? What could she find at the reliquary that would help her?
Maybe she wanted a weapon. Something to defend herself with.
But she got inside and didn't take anything.
Even Hecate doesn't know what she was there for? I thought she knew everything.
I'm afraid I can't be much help, Grace. Few have access to the reliquary, and I have no idea even who they are.
If Medusa was there, I'd suggest asking her how and why.
Why do you
Lady
bring up
Aphrodite was
Medusa?
always suspicious of her true
I
motives.
didn't mention Medusa.
Come now, Venus. It's been a long night. I'll get you home.
Thank you for everything, Grace. Truly. It was a wonderful song.
So, did they have anything helpful? Medusa. That's a rather dark name to unearth. Are you thinking of seeking her out?
I have to. How else will I find out what she knows?
You need to be careful, Grace. Medusa is not to be toyed with. Athena employs her
keep
as a
saying
spy
that.
master. A hound to do her bidding. A vicious hound at that.
Don't
Athena's
call
not
her a
likely to tell
dog.
either
She's
of
a
us where to
snake.
find Medusa.
Well, lots of snakes.
I can't say for certain who would know. Are you all right, Grace? You seem troubled.
what you said earlier about Calliope's memories coming back.
That wasn't how I wanted you to find out. I'm sorry. If I might suggest, speak with Persephone about it when you get a chance. It might be good for you.
You think she could help? Persephone?
Persephone and I have our problems, but I can't deny she is insightful. She'll surprise you.
I might do that. Thanks. For what it's worth, I'm sorry I dragged you into it.
It was my choice. I did what I could, though I may indeed have made things worse.
You haven't. Even if you had, isn't now the time to fix it?
Give my regards to Persephone when you see her.
Oh, we're just
Apollo.
booted right
Oh,
into
he's so
Persephone's
dramatic.
lounge.
Well done, by the way. And cheers to you, Aphrodite. You shall be missed. For a few years, at least.
I still don't know if I did the right thing.
Well, it was never up to you, Grace. The choice has always been Aphrodite's. She's been in hell since the war. And you were only a visitor. I remember the last time I passed on my Eidolon. 1952. I was married to, well, so you'd call him a gangster. More of a thug. A mean, vicious little thug. Persephone saved me from him. Tore his head clean off. But not before he fired a shotgun into her chest. My chest? Whatever.
Do you remember who you were before?
I still am her. Chastity, that is.
Oof.
You can see why I switched names. I remember being disgusted I was ever that weak. Persephone made me strong. But it never really goes away. We all have our sordid history, our personal horrors, building up like sediment around our souls. You can't let it bury you, Grace. You are the only one who can keep your head afloat.
Aww. Alright,
You're
I can't
incredible.
resist.
You know that?
There's no need to be facetious, Grace.
No, really.
And what of Pan? Is he also incredible?
Why would you ask me that?
You are not as difficult to read as you believe, Grace.
I do
What
like
he
you more.
is incredibly frustrating and nothing at all like you.
I am incredible. It's true. It's good that you recognize this.
Okay, I take it back.
Oh, you can't take it back, Grace. I would have thought you'd learned that by now.
Oh. I wasn't expecting another song. I should have been.
After centuries of cruel injustice, everybody working against me, every idol but for one, violent with apathy. We couldn't reach a resolution, but you and I, I'm queen of the underworld, and you praise you. Something seems familiar about you. Have we met Gods like me don't have too much to hope for. The rules been fixed throughout the ages, so I have forged a daring path. I would like to make some changes. You see, we can win a revolution, you and I, you and I. I'm queen of the underworld, and you grace you. You're lost, little girl. The first time we met, you called me that. And now I understand. Show it or not, I see your heart. You've got one big mouth on you, don't you? Yet it's me who's closing in. Think I like that mouth on you, won't you? You've overstayed your welcome.
Aww.
Time to go home. Get out of here, Grace.
Okay. Oof. Whew, that was a lot. Okay, I think we're gonna call that it for today. That is a lot happening there. So hopefully next time we will get a little less intense, but who knows, because next time I want to go find Medusa. Alright, everybody take care, and you know what I say. Keep learning, friends.